Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're putting on our app architect hats to build a focused, highly efficient study blueprint for the model-driven app section of the AB-410 exam. Listen, if you're gearing up for this certification, you already know there is a ton of ground to cover. But today, we are zeroing in on the exact framework you need to absolutely nail this specific and honestly critical section of the test. And ultimately, this isn't just about passing the AB-410, it's about actually learning how to build highly scalable, secure, and AI-driven business apps out there in the real world.
All right, let's get straight to the numbers, because this breakdown is exactly why we're here. Looking at the overall exam, you've basically got three main pillars. We are focusing entirely on the Create Intelligent Applications module. This one section accounts for a massive 25 to 30% of your total exam weight. That's a huge chunk of your score right there. And the reason it's weighted so heavily is that intelligent apps are the primary interface where business users actually interact with all that underlying data and logic you've worked so hard to build. Nailing this domain isn't a nice-to-have. It's absolutely fundamental to passing the test and proving your chops as an architect.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. AB-410 Intelligent Apps Overview. 2. Composing model-driven apps. 3. Configuring app access. And 4. AI generative pages. Let's dive in.
Starting with Section 1, AB-410 Intelligent Apps Overview, where we'll define our exam scope.
So think of this checklist as the literal anatomy of a complete application build. First, you compose the app framework itself. Then, you build out the user interface with forms and views. Lock down the data with security access, provide high-level insights using charts and dashboards, and finally, accelerate your build with AI generative pages. Master these 5 pillars and you've totally conquered this domain. It takes all those scattered requirements from the study guide and puts them into one totally actionable blueprint for your prep.
Moving right along to Section 2, Composing Model-Driven Apps. This is all about the app framework.
Okay, you've got to understand this clear 3-step journey. You don't just jump in and build randomly, right? First, you compose the core app by selecting your underlying data tables. Second, you construct the forms and views because your UI absolutely has to map directly to that data. And only then can you move to Step 3, snapping in your data visualizations. You literally can't visualize data with charts until that foundation is set. The exam will definitely test whether you deeply understand this specific logical build sequence.
Now this is a big one. You absolutely have to distinguish the specific roles of forms versus views so you don't trip up on test day. Think about it like this. Say you're a sales manager. A view is your broad list of all open opportunities for the quarter. It gives you a macro-level perspective, right? Letting you sort and filter a bunch of records at once. But when you click into one specific deal to, say, update the revenue amount, you are now looking at a form. Forms are the detailed close-up specifically used for individual data entry and editing. The exam is going to throw user scenarios at you, and you need to know exactly which one of these elements to configure to solve the problem.
But, hey, your user interface isn't really finished until you give your users that macro perspective. Dashboards act as the landing page. They aggregate multiple charts, views, and metrics into a single pane of glass. For the exam, you need to know exactly how to embed these visual components directly into the model-driven app so business leaders get immediate, actionable insights the second they log in. You have to know how to build these out to truly complete the UI layer.
All right, on to Section 3, Configuring App Access. We're talking about the security layer now.
If you take nothing else away from the governance portion of the AB-410, memorize this golden rule. Access isn't just for the app, it's for forms and views too. Seriously, it is incredibly easy to just share a model-driven app with a group of users and think, cool, my security job is done. But a true architect knows that just granting someone access to the app doesn't mean they should see everything inside of it. Your security has to be a multi-layered strategy.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, security here is highly granular. You have to map Dataverse security roles to very specific forms and views. For example, your HR team and your IT team might use the exact same model-driven app. But by configuring role-based access, HR sees a highly detailed employee onboarding form, while IT only sees a really basic hardware request view. Expect the exam to heavily test your ability to restrict these components based on user personas, rather than just flipping access on or off at the top level.
Finally, Section 4, AI Generative Pages. Welcome to the AI frontier.
This is where things get really exciting.
Generative pages represent a brand new frontier where you're actually teaming up with artificial intelligence to architect your application way faster. Instead of manually mapping out every single component on a canvas, you're leveraging AI assistants to do the heavy lifting of page construction. It dynamically binds data to layouts in seconds. It is a massive leap forward in how we build within this ecosystem.
And the absolutely crucial detail to grasp here is the methodology. You are creating these generative pages by using natural language. No complex coding required. No traditional drag-and-drop mechanics. You simply type a prompt in plain English. Something like, hey, create a page that displays a list of high-priority support tickets and a chart showing tickets by status. And boom, the AI translates that natural language into a fully functional data-connected page. The exam will test your understanding of this major conceptual shift.
All right, we have walked through the entire blueprint. You now know the framework to compose the app, configure the forms and views, snap in those dashboards, and lock it all down with granular role-based access. But here's the question I want to leave you pondering today. You know how to manually build and secure a model-driven app, but how will natural language completely change your next build? As you get ready to ace the AB-410, really consider how this profound shift toward AI prompts and natural language is going to revolutionize the way you design intelligent applications going forward. It's not just another exam objective, folks. It is the very future of application architecture. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep up the great studying, and I'll catch you on the next one.